Hi there guys, Mrs. K here. I'm here to explain your labs for the week. You actually have, this is a double marks week. That's why I call it the double whammy week. You have to choose a recipe to do involving vegetables or fruits. And I've included at the bottom as links a whole bunch of recipes you could choose from, and you're certainly welcome to use one of your own. The second part of your assignment, you have to do the vegetable cutting techniques. All right, so these are the techniques we're going to do. This sheet is enclosed for you as a link in the assignment. You can print it off or you can just have it on a screen and check it out. So we're going to learn how to pare. So we're going to use a paring knife. This is a paring knife. It's used to remove the skin from fruits and vegetables. Scraping is simply using a vegetable peeler. We don't have to scrape because I know you all know how to use a vegetable peeler because I've seen it. Slicing, chopping, cubing, dicing, mincing, and julienne. So these are the cuts that we're going to do. I'm going to leave my paper here as I move through the cuts. First of all, I want to pare. So I'm going to show you my paring knife here. So in your dominant hand, you have your paring knife. In your non-dominant hand, you have your potato. You use the thumb on the dominant hand to just gently guide the knife around the potato, okay, until you have all the skin removed, okay? So now, so just leave that so I know you paired it in your picture. So I'm going to show you how I want you to send me a photo. So you're going to take your finished photo and enclose it on the bottom of this assignment sheet called Vegetable Cutting Techniques. So I need a photo from each of you cutting any vegetable. So it could be a potato, could be a cucumber, could be a zucchini, could be a carrot, really doesn't matter. Potatoes are going to be the cheapest bet. All right, so I've pared my potato, which means I've removed the skin using a paring knife. So that's my first knife. Second knife, I've got my chef's knife, okay? So a chef's knife has a contoured blade, which means that it can move in kind of a seesaw motion on a cutting board, okay? So when we are choosing knives, it's always ideal to choose what you call a full tang knife. What does that mean? It means from the tip of the blade to the end of the handle, the metal runs all the way through. This is and you can see mine is full tang, okay? Goes right to the end as opposed to having just a plastic handle attached at this point. Okay, so that makes the knife more stable. Now, in terms of how we hold a knife, as a review, you never hold it with a finger pointing. Don't point at me. You take this finger, it should be on one side, thumb on the other side, and this is a nice firm grip, okay? Now we kind of make a claw with our hand to ensure that our fingers are never going to be caught under a nice blade. So the first cut here that I'm going to do is called the slice. Now a slice is just simply making full slices. For example, with a potato, you might do this for something like scalloped potatoes, okay? So nice round slices, okay? And you can easily do that with a carrot or a cucumber. The next cut here is a chop. So I'm going to move this onto the flat side because it's always much safer to cut on a flat side of a vegetable. Cut it in half, and then I'm going to chop. Chop is a half slice. Okay, so here is my chop. Okay, now cube. So we want to make a cube, so I'm going to try to make this as square as I can. So I'm going to try to cut pieces off. I'm going to discard this in my discarding pile. Okay, and a cube is fairly big pieces. Cubing is something that you would do, for example, if you're cutting potatoes to boil them in water. So this is fairly square now. I can take off the end to make it even more square. So I'm going to cut this in half. I'm going to use half. Okay, so that's about the size of a cube, maybe even a bit bigger. And then we're going to do a dice. I'm going to save a little bit of this. And then a dice. So first you take the chunk, you cut it into sticks, and then from here, okay, a dice. All right, so we've got a pear, a slice, a chop, a cube, a dice. Now, I'm gonna do julienne first because it makes sense to make a julienne and then make a mince. So a julienne is really thin sticks, really thin sticks. Okay, thin sticks. Okay, so this is your julienne. And then it makes sense from julienne to take a few of those tiny little sticks that you made. Okay, and then you can cut over them again in this direction to make them even thinner sticks. Okay. Then bunch them, see how tiny those sticks are? Perfect. And then from here to do a tiny, 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 tiny cuts. Okay. All right, so that's your mince, and that's your last cut. So here are the cuts in order. So we've got a pear, we've got a slice, we've got a chop, we've got a cube, we've got a dice, we've got a mince, and we've got julienne. So these are the cuts that I'm going to need to see, and as you can see, it only took me a half a potato to demonstrate that. Don't forget to choose a recipe as well and enclose that picture, and this week will be for double marks. So 1 mark for doing the cuts and 1 mark for doing the recipe. There will be an additional writing assignment if you cannot do the other recipe, but I expect everybody to do the cuts. Until next time, or if you guys have any questions, feel free to email me or private message me through Google Classroom. Take care, guys.